Part 5 of Kenobi has dropped. I'm speechless. Hello, everybody. We are the Jedi in Exile, and we are dizzy with excitement, I would say. Well, I am certainly after Part 5 of Kenobi. Um, yeah, welcome to the channel. You know who we are. It's Tats, it's the Norfolk Lion. We're here discussing all things Star Wars, and it's Kenobi again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that jazz, but let's just get straight into this, Matt. Part 5. Thoughts?
I mean, I think we could just end the episode. You've summed it up. It was absolutely mind blowing, right? We're done. We're done.
Yeah,
Turn it off now.
yeah, yeah.
No,
This had everything.
this was insane. So, I turned it on and
Good,
was like,
good start.
yeah, exactly. Logged into my Disney Plus, all that. Um, no, turned it on and I was like, oh, what's this? Is this what I think it is?
Is this Attack of the Clones?
And honestly, so every before the series released, everyone was kind of going, "Oh, Hayden Christensen's back. Hayden Christensen's back."
Yeah.
Is that gonna be he's just in a suit and that's it, or are we gonna get some?
Like a symbolic return, or is it an actual
Yeah,
proper
exactly. We have our answer, folks. We have
Yeah.
our answer.
It was incredible the way it panned back from him doing that pose that he's standing with, like his arms behind his back, like classic Anakin. And then later on, when we got the Order 66, I mean, Hayden Christensen is back, and we've got this episode just for me completely summed up. We delve deeper into that Obi-Wan Anakin relationship, how the films don't really explore the relationship between them too much, but they spent like almost every second with each other
Well, the thing
of
you
every day. They just knew each other so well,
the
and
thing you've
this
got to think
episode summed
is
that whole up.
the thing you got to think is obviously like Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith, like you and my brother, like that's not a normal master apprentice relationship. That is not, there's something a lot more there. And obviously we see in Battle of the Heroes the fact that they like the reason that that's up there is the absolute pinnacle of lightsaber combat is the fact that they knew each other and each other's fighting styles and everything so well that it was just so fluid. And this kind of backed that up a little bit. We got to kind of see them actually sparring and doing those things.
And this was the mental side as well, how well they knew each other. Like you say, the Battle of the Heroes was them physically knowing each other's style and what the other's going to do next. With the whole when they were waving the lightsabers around without getting each other, then they did the Force. Like, they both knew what the other was going to do. This was more like them both mentally knowing what was going to happen. So, Vader knowing that Obi-Wan was going to draw himself out, Obi-Wan knowing that Vader was going to attack straight away because he doesn't have the patience. And I just thought this episode was perfectly done by Deborah Chow. I think bravo. The way that the camera constantly panned from one of their faces from the prequels to then now, as if they were both reliving it, even though it was probably only Obi-Wan. It Yeah, it was just incredible. And the whole Reva thing, I mean, I was just saying off camera, we saw the whole storyline coming, but it was still shocking when we heard it.
Oh,
So
it was kind of that excitement of I went, oh my god, I called this. I knew that this was going to be the case. But then, as much as you know what, or I say as much as you have a theory as to what's going to happen, you don't know how that's going to play out or what that is actually going to mean to the story. We talked about it. I can't remember whether it was on camera or off camera, but all of the character posters, where it's the character with the sun as the eye with the silhouette, Reva's had Vader in it from day one, and we talked about that and said, there's theories circulating that that's because actually Vader is her true target. And what did we discover? Vader's her true target.
she didn't have the yellow eyes as well, didn't I? Know we spoke about that, I think, on episode 1. She doesn't have the yellow eyes that a Sith or Dark Jedi would have. So yeah, there were some telltale signs, weren't there? But I think the scenes that we got of Reva, like seeing when Vader's walking up to her, and it shows Anakin walking up to her. I'm still unsure. Did Anakin actually stab her
I
then, and
don't know
she
whether that was symbolic or
managed to
whether that
stay
actually
alive?
happened. Yeah, I don't know.
Because she said she hid like with the bodies, didn't she? So, but if he's right in front of her, he's gonna have slashed her. So I'm unsure on that. But I have to say as well, we've been left on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So there's one episode left. Reva has heard part of the recording that Bale sent to Obi-Wan
About the
and she's
children,
heard children, Tatooine,
the
the
boy,
boy,
and Owen.
and so it's like, how does this
Well,
link in? Like, is she gonna go? Because obviously we know how the story goes. She's not going to kill Luke. She's not going to do anything. Is she somehow going to be maybe sent to protect Leia on Alderaan? Is she going to turn good and Obi-Wan's going to send her to be her protector?
see,
Is Obi-Wan going to kill her? Is Vader going to kill her? Like, is she just going to wander off? Like, who knows?
I think we'll get a proper. I think we will get, for those that have seen Rebels, I think we will
Yeah,
get
Rebels.
Maul Kenobi from the Tatooine desert. I think we'll get the same sort of thing play out with him and Reva. Him kind of building his strength back up, because
Yeah.
I think that she'll try to use Luke as leverage.
Yes, but I think she'll
And
do that
Kenobi's
to
gonna have
her
to.
Vader. She'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
that
But
she.
but the only way to keep him safe is gonna be to take her out the equation.
Yeah.
Is my theory. We will see.
I don't know whether he'll have it in him because he obviously thinks that she's not still like in that Jedi way, because clearly she's not. She's using her passion, strength, all
Oh,
of that.
she's
But
definitely on the fallen to the
they,
dark side.
yeah, but they obviously Obi-Wan obviously sees
A
that
glimmer.
they've got a common goal, that
Yeah,
they want rid of Vader.
yeah.
So will he have it in him to destroy her?
We'll
Who
find
knows?
out.
And she obviously hates him because she trained Anakin.
The thing
He trained Anakin. Sorry.
the thing that I love is that well, not just that he trained Anakin, but the fact that, like she said, where were you? Because essentially, as
I
a
was in, I'd be
youngling,
like, I was winning the Clone Wars. I got rid of Grievous. Like,
but
that's what I'd have said back.
as a youngling, like Obi-Wan was on the council, right? So as a youngling, she's gonna have known who he was. Like, he was a
Big dog.
yeah, like a big name within the order. So for her to ask those questions and be like that, obviously her hatred is at Anakin and aimed at Anakin, but there is clearly a bit more to it than that in regards to the way that she looks at Obi-Wan and the way that she kind of perceives him, from the fact that she's willing to essentially use him as bait, walk all over him, do all of these things. But one of the things I want to pick up on is, I really like that in, I can't remember if it's episode 1, I'm pretty sure it was episode 1, when the Inquisitors rock up on Tatooine looking for the other Jedi, not for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, yeah.
And they make all the people stand out in the street, and she has quite an intense interaction with Owen Lars, and she says, "Until the next time." This is the next time. Like, they've actually set this up so beautifully that she's heard the name Owen, and she's like, "Well, I know who that
I've met
is.
him.
I know who that is. Like, I know that
It's
guy."
interesting. There was something for me that I even had to go and pause it and look, which was, I was trying to see whether again Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and John Favreau were teeing something up with when Kenobi sees all the lightsabers in Jabim. So he sees this box full of lightsabers, and then he's got the Jedi robe in the box next door to it. I tried to see any of those lightsabers, if they were recognizable of any Jedi, and unfortunately, I didn't recognize any of them.
No, I did the same.
So yeah, I'm
If
not.
any of you know,
It would have
let
been.
us
It would
know.
have been. Yeah, absolutely, because it would have been cool. I was looking out for. Well, I don't know who, but I was just looking at them, thinking, have we maybe seen that in Clone Wars? Is it recognizable? Like,
The interesting thing here is that anybody that went via the path, they've given up their lightsabers. But it'd be interesting to see whether Obi-Wan left those, or whether we're going to maybe see that he took them with him, or, because technically now, if we get any other characters come in, you're going to think that they're probably, like any other Jedi that they try to pull in future like series or anything like that, that they're going to be weaponless, or well, at least
Yeah,
lightsaberless,
yeah.
which would be interesting
Remember, Obi-Wan's been weaponless, we think, for about 10 years
because he
because he
buried it.
buried the lightsabers in the desert. So, and like he says, and this is what I really liked. The whole people have been slagging off this series in terms of Obi-Wan and Vader had that, we won't even call it a duel. They had that standoff in episode 3. And everyone's like, "Oh, is that all? Why does Vader say when I left you I was but the learner?" When in this episode, when Obi-Wan gives up his lightsaber and says there are different ways to fight, when that Rogan says, you're going in weaponless, he's like, there's different ways to fight, and I'm like, yes, this is where he's not going to have his lightsaber, and he's still going to escape Vader, or he's going to do something with Vader. And I just feel like it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't have his lightsaber, and hence why Vader says, "When I left you, I was but the learner."
Well,
So
the other
I
thing
think
is,
there's more to this. Dave Filoni and John Favreau, they know what they're doing. Deborah Chow knows what they're doing. They have this long plan, together, the grand
it's the
plan,
long game,
and
isn't it? They're playing the long
it
game.
absolutely is. Why we've all been, well, I say we weren't the moaners, but so many people have moaned about this series when they've only seen 2 or 3 episodes. You have to watch the whole thing and see how it ties in, because it's just so clever. We've gone from episode 1, Obi-Wan being uh, the shell of the man that he was, and slowly and slowly we're seeing him almost come back to reality
Well, there
and
was a
come back into
moment.
society.
There was a moment in this episode in particular where, like, through a lot of it, he's been very reluctant, right? Because it was this whole weighing up heart, head, kind of, do I help someone? Because by doing that, I'm essentially putting myself in the firing line. We're
Yeah,
seeing the true Obi-Wan come back because he's kind of like, there's a cause here for me to fight for. Like, I need to save these people, and I'm already in the crosshairs. So that whole head heart debate is gone, and now he's just going, I'm here. I'm gonna help these people. Like, this is
I,
what we're gonna do
yeah, I think we saw a changed Obi-Wan in episode 4 when he decided to go into into Fortress Inquisitorius
to
and
save Leia.
rescue Leia.
Yeah.
That was when he was like, right, we're going in. I've got my lightsaber. He was repelling blaster fire.
Can I just say, by the way, like, even without the lightsaber, like lightsaber on lightsaber fights, how incredible it was just seeing Ewan McGregor, lightsaber in hand, like standing in front of however many stormtroopers. It was like, in my head, I was going, some of these people, like the characters, will have heard stories about, General Obi-Wan Kenobi, the guy who, did all of these incredible things in the war. And there's like a
And Obi-Wan
point where
Kenobi.
he's literally standing in front of them, like batting blaster fire, like back, left, right, and center, spinning, like doing all the stuff, and you're like, oh my god, like Obi-Wan's back, like fully. This is
Moment
Obi-Wan.
in history. That could be like their claim to fame. Like I shot at Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But honestly, like, just mental. I loved it. I loved
Yeah,
the fact that and this pulls back into that when I was when we last left or saw each other or whatever it was. I was the learner, you know,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
famous line. That the fact that he's outsmarted him, and we don't know whether that's Obi-Wan playing the fight back or whether that's Anakin playing the fight back.
Yeah.
And so there must be a moment there where Anakin's like, he's still got the better of me.
And I feel like that line will be answered. The whole "when I left you, I was but the learner," because we've seen how strong Vader is in the Force, and this is also something else that I love. People, and we were talking about it off camera before we started filming. Vader has never been seen as this powerful Sith. The original trilogy, I get that. The technology, the heavy lightsabers, blah blah blah. Rogue One showed it at the end with the whole hallway scene, which was pretty badass. This series is showing how strong Vader actually is in the Force, in the sense that he doesn't even use his lightsaber like we were talking about with Reva. The fact that Obi-Wan is going to get the better of him I'm just so excited to see how he gets the better of
Well,
him,
that's
to then spark the line, when I left you, I was but the learner.
that's if we get it this series.
Well, yeah,
We're
there
all
could
making the
be.
assumption, but we know that season 2 is like in the works. I'm.
Yeah,
We talked about it again. I can't remember whether we talked about it on or off camera. They haven't greenlit that off the back of how well this is done. They greenlit
no,
that before this series
yeah,
was anywhere near completion. They knew that they were making a second
yeah,
series.
100%.
So it's whether or not we're going to see it. They might build up to we talked about it. They might build up to a massive cliffhanger that is just left there.
Which means we have to wait like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the thing that I thought was awesome about the whole power situation, just kind of taking that back to, is like we said, like when he's fighting Reva, like he makes it so clear that he knew what she was up to the whole time.
yeah,
He knew who she was. And like it's so obvious that he's toying with her. Like that's not a, oh, you've taken me by surprise, so I haven't had a chance to get my lightsaber out, so I'm going to use the Force to fight against you. That is a, you are absolutely nothing. I could do this with my eyes closed, one hand behind my back type,
yeah,
type fight. But still super entertaining. Like this is the thing that I think was done really well. Is there is a possibility when that is the case for it not to be actiony and for it to be a bit boring because you're like it's so one-sided, but it was so one-sided but still
it was
interesting.
gripping still.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole, Vader and Anakin walking up, the flashbacks, it was just perfectly done. The fact that Anakin had the hooded robe as well, obviously he goes in and see him slashing younglings, which again, every time I see Anakin slay a youngling, all I think about is Rey and how she's like she doesn't want to use the Kylo Ren's lightsaber, is it?
because
She
it
doesn't want to
because it
use it
because it
because
committed
of
so many atrocities.
what it's done. Yet she's happy with the Youngling Slayer 9000. Like, it's it just makes me
But
angry
I
at the sequels. But anyway,
but I guess the issue is that they probably don't. Well, I mean, they do know that, but they also don't necessarily know that, right? Like because the whole point is that even after the original trilogy, it's not massively widely known that Anakin.
no. But Luke knows.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to have come up in conversation necessarily. That Luke's going to be like, "Oh, you see that lightsaber you're holding, by the way? Yes, it's
Yeah,
seen
but
some
yeah, but
things."
but maybe people knew that Anakin Skywalker was Darth Vader, and that Darth Vader.
No, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think that was as widely known as.
No, but I feel like Rey would have known the
I
lightsaber
think you're
she
getting
had
very
because it was
nitpicky. I think you're getting
it
very
was
nitpicky.
because Maz said it was Luke's father's.
Yeah.
And we know that Luke's father's turned to the dark side, blah blah blah. So no, she knew, and she was happy with using the lightsaber that killed a load of younglings.
Um. Let's
So
get back.
anyway, we
Let's get back.
digress on
As
our
I say,
sequel hate.
let's get back to
Right,
the.
I'm ready to give this a score,
Okay, go for it.
and I am. It's a 10. It's a 10 from me. I can't handle it. We get prequels Anakin, and not just prequels. It's not Revenge of the Sith. It's not Clone Wars. We're going back to whiny Anakin. It was, it was just incredible for me. It had everything. It had action. It showed that more emotional side between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and we saw some Order 66 scenes. It's really set up for the last episode of the series. Oh yeah, love it. 10 from me. Matthew, take it away.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I'm in total agreement that the fact that as a fan we get so much, and as a prequels fan we get so much. They could have done this and pretty much ignored the prequels and just gone, we'll do our own storyline. Like I know that they can't completely separate themselves from the fact that Obi-Wan was in the prequels and that Anakin became Vader in the prequels, but they could have just gone, we're telling a different story. We don't need to touch on any of that. We'll maybe explore their relationship a tiny bit, but it's not particularly difficult to do that just through conversation or whatever.
Yeah,
They didn't need to show it. You know, they know what they're doing in that they understand, and I've talked to you before about my theory around why the prequels are getting so much love at the moment and what that's going to do with the sequels in probably 10 to 15 years' time. They know what they're doing. They're appealing to the people that are watching this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, loved it. It was actiony enough. It was paced enough. There was so much exploration of character. We got the reveal that, like I said, this is the other thing. Like, that reveal was predictable. The reveal that that the Grand Inquisitor wasn't dead was predictable because we've seen Rebels. Yeah. We know what happens. But how it was handled, like, I expected the reveal about Reva to be this episode or next. We got it. We didn't get it in the way that I expected it. I never expected her to admit that to Obi-Wan and it kind of be like a I've been using you to get to Vader type thing. Yeah, and then the Grand Inquisitor to just walk in at, towards the end. Mind was blown at that point, I'll be honest. But yeah, so good. 10 out of 10. Cannot wait for next week. Just unreal. And I know that I will be going back and watching it a couple of times over the next week and just absolutely living off the hype for the next week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, it was brilliant. There's nothing. There's words. I've run out of superlatives to describe this episode.
Perfect place for us to wrap up. So, guys, we thought it was a perfect 10. What about you guys? Let us know in the comments section down below. And obviously, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the little notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos going forwards. And all that is left to say is we will see you guys all real soon in the next one.
May the force be with you guys.